Hello friends. Now in this lecture we'll revise quadrilaterals and might be we'll start uh, parallelograms, areas of parallelograms. So let us start with the quadrilaterals. Okay, so very basic about quadrilateral. It's a closed figure made up of four sides or four lines, whatever you say. Okay, so this is a quadrilateral ABCD. Okay, it has four vertices, or we can say it has four angles. It has four sides, AB, BC, CD, and DA. It has two pair of opposite sides. AB and BC are called the opposite sides. Opposite sides which do not have any vertex common. Okay, AB and DC is also a pair of opposite side. Then it has four pair of adjacent sides. For example, AB and BC are adjacent sides. Sides which have a vertex common are called adjacent sides. ABBC, BCCD, CDDA, and DAAB. These are the four pairs of adjacent sides. Now, angles, it has two pair of opposite angles. Angle A and angle C are opposite angles. Angles which do not have any arms common are called adjacent angles. It has are called opposite angles. Angle A and C, D and B. Now, adjacent angles, angles which have one arm common. Okay, here A and B are adjacent angles because they have a common arm AB. For angle A, DAB, and this angle B is ABC. So they have a common arm AB. So these two are adjacent angles. It has four pairs of adjacent angles. So that is very basic about uh, quadrilaterals. Now, sum of all four angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. Okay, sum of all four angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. Angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D is 360 degree. Now next we will see the classification of the quadrilaterals. Okay, so quadrilateral, basically we divide quadrilateral into two parts. That is, one is concave quadrilateral and another one is convex quadrilateral. Now, a quadrilateral in which at least one angle is more than 180 degree is called concave. We'll see the definition, but first let me classify this concave, convex. Among the convex, here we have kite. Okay, then we have trapezium, and then we have parallelogram. Okay, now among the trapezium, next we have isosceles trapezium. Isosceles trapezium. Among the parallelogram, we have rectangle, then we have rhombus, and the third one we have square. Okay, so concave, convex, kite, trapezium, parallelogram, isosceles trapezium, rectangle, rhombus, and square. Now we'll see the definition of each and every quadrilateral along with its properties. That is all about this chapter. Okay, we have to concentrate on the properties. In that, especially the properties of parallelogram. That is the properties of rectangle, rhombus, and square. So let us start with the concave quadrilateral. Okay, concave quadrilateral is a quadrilateral in which one angle is measure of one angle is greater than 180 degree, or in other words we can say whose one angle is reflex angle. Okay, concave quadrilateral having one angle more than 180 degree or having one reflex angle. Okay, something like this is its diagram. Okay, this is a concave quadrilateral ABCD. Okay, here you can see this angle is has measure greater than 180 degrees, so ABCD is a concave quadrilateral. Now one thing more that you can observe, that if I draw its diagonal, this is the diagonal AC and this is the diagonal BD. So one thing I can conclude, that diagonals of concave quadrilateral do not intersect, or diagonals or one of the diagonal of a concave quadrilateral lies outside the quadrilateral. Okay, so that two things you have to take care about. First thing, that diagonals diagonals of concave quadrilateral do not intersect. Okay, they do not intersect. Or in the same thing can be written as one diagonal of concave quadrilateral lies outside or in the exterior of the quadrilateral, outside the quadrilateral. Okay, so this is concave quadrilateral. Now next we will see convex and then kite. Okay, so now next is convex quadrilateral. Okay, next we will see is convex quadrilateral. Convex quadrilateral, a quadrilateral whose all angles are less than 180 degree. Okay, having all angles less than 180 degree. Having all angles less than 180 degree is called convex quadrilateral. Having all angles less than 180 degree is called a convex quadrilateral. Okay, simple. This is a convex quadrilateral. Its all angles are less than 180 degree. Okay, now after convex and concave quadrilateral, we next will come to the type of convex quadrilateral, in which very first we will take kite. Okay, next is kite. So see, uh, if I draw the diagram of kite, it is something like this. It is something like this. ABCD is a con. Sorry, ABCD is a kite. Okay. Now, definition of kite is it has two pairs of adjacent angles and two pairs of non-equal opposite sides. Two pairs of adjacent equal sides and two pairs of non-equal opposite sides. Okay. So, having two pairs two pairs of adjacent equal sides. Okay, over here you can see we have AB equal to AD as well as BC equal to CD. Having two pairs of adjacent equal sides and having two pairs of non-equal opposite sides. Having non-equal opposite sides, he can see it has one pair of non-equal opposite side AB and CD, and another is AD and BC. These are opposite sides and not equal. So this is a kite. Okay, so now there are some properties of kite. Try to remind those kite in your mind. Then I will give you those properties. Okay, so now let us see the properties of kite. So very first property of kite is, see, it has uh, you can see there are two diagonals. Now the the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. The first property, diagonals are perpendicular to each other, perpendicular to each other. That means I can say AC is perpendicular to BD. Okay, here I am writing that is AC perpendicular BD. Okay, or in other words, I can say this angle AOD or AOB or BOC or COD is 90 degree. That means these four angles forming at point O are 90 degree. Okay, next, longer diagonal bisects the shorter diagonal. Longer diagonal bisects the shorter diagonal. That means I can say AC bisects BD. That is AC bisects BD. That is BO is equal to DO. But AO won't be equal to CO because BD is not bisecting the AC, or smaller one is not bisecting the longer one. Only the longer diagonal bisects the shorter one. Okay, so now angles at the vertices of shorter diagonal are equal. See, if you know something about congruency, we can prove it. In triangle ABC and triangle ADC, AB equal to AC, sorry, AB equal to AD, BC equal to CD, and AC common. So we can say these two angles are equal. That means I can say angles at the vertices of angles at the vertices of shorter diagonal are equal. Okay, that is angle ABC. That is angle ABC is equal to angle ADC. Angle ADC. Okay, now angles. Now next property. See, these two angles are equal as well as these two are equal. Okay, you can see as these two triangles are congruent. Okay, we can say these two are congruent. AB equal to AD, AO common in this 90 degree. Okay, so by CPCT we can say these two are equal. So here we can say angles at the longer diagonal bisects the angle at its vertices. Okay, longer diagonal bisects the angles at its vertices. At its vertices. That is, I can say angle. If I say this is angle 1, this is angle 2, this is angle 3, this is angle 4. So I can say 1 equal to 2 equal to half of BAD. That is, angle 1 is equal to angle 2 is equal to angle BAD by 2. Also angle 3 is equal to angle 4 is equal to angle BCD by 2. Angle BCD by 2. Okay, so these are the properties of uh, kite. Now next we will see the trapezium. Okay, next is trapezium. Next is trapezium. So, okay, this is the very usual diagram of the trapezium. Now here you can see that one pair of opposite side is parallel. So we can say a quadrilateral having exactly one pair of opposite sides parallel is called trapezium. A quadrilateral having one pair of opposite sides parallel is called trapezium. Is called trapezium. Okay, so here AB is parallel to CD. So there are not much properties about this. Definitely we can say as these two lines are parallel, sum of these two will be 180. That means A plus D 180 and C plus B 180. But this is not actually connected with the trapezium. It is the property of parallel lines. If two lines are parallel, then co-interior angles are supplementary. So we can say this is also applicable to the trapezium as well because it has a one pair of opposite sides parallel. After this trapezium, next we will see the isosceles trapezium. Next one is isosceles trapezium. Now, name itself says isosceles. Whenever we get word isosceles, that means two sides are equal. Now, but obviously we can't say these two equal because if you make these two equal, then this will be a parallelogram. It means definitely non-parallel sides will be equal. So here we'll say a trapezium. Okay, first of all, it must be a trapezium. A trapezium having equal non-parallel sides. Okay, so a trapezium in which non-parallel sides are equal, in which non-parallel sides are equal is called isosceles trapezium. Is called a trapezium in which non-parallel sides are equal is called isosceles trapezium. Okay, so that is isosceles trapezium. Now, if we see the properties of isosceles trapezium, so very first property of isosceles trapezium, uh, that its diagonals are equal. Okay, that means DB equal to AC. Okay, diagonals of an isosceles trapezium are equal. Okay, diagonals of an isosceles trapezium are equal. Next property, see, these two angles will be equal. D will be equal to C and A will be equal to B. Okay, so we'll say angles at the vertices of either pair of parallel lines. Angles at the vertices, angles at the vertices of either pair, angles at the vertices of either pair of parallel sides, parallel sides are equal, are equal. That is, I can say angle D is equal to angle C. That is, angle D is equal to angle C and angle A is equal to angle B. Okay, diagonals of isosceles trapezium are equal. That is, AC equal to BD. AC is equal to BD. So these are the properties of isosceles trapezium. Okay, now next we will see the properties of, sorry, next we will see parallelogram and the types of parallelogram with their, along with their properties. So next we will see parallelogram. Okay, next is parallelogram. Next is parallelogram. So in this very first one, in this first we'll see the its definition. Now, if you have something about some idea about uh, parallelogram, it looks like this. That means it both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So here we'll define it: quadrilateral, quadrilateral having both pairs having both pairs of opposite side parallel. A quadrilateral having both pair of opposite sides parallel is called parallelogram. Okay, both pair of opposite sides are parallel. That means DC is parallel to AB and AD is parallel to BC. So these are the this is the definition of the parallelogram. Okay, definition of parallelogram. Okay, now we'll see the properties of parallelogram. Okay, properties of parallelogram. In this very first property, diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. See, there are three properties of parallelogram. One is related to the diagonal, one is related to sides, and one is related to angles. So we'll start with sides, then we'll come to angles, and then we'll see the properties related to the diagonals. So sides. So opposite sides of parallelogram are equal. That is, AB is equal to CD and AD is equal to BC. Next, opposite angles of parallelogram are equal. That is, I can say angle A is equal to angle B. Better to write full name because here at A more than one angles are there. So angle DAB, angle DAB is equal to angle BCD, angle BCD, and angle ADC, and angle ADC is equal to angle ABC, is equal to angle ABC. Okay, now next is property related to diagonals. So diagonals of parallelogram bisect each other, bisect each other. That is, that is AO equal to CO, AO is equal to CO, and BO is equal to DO. That is AO equal to CO and BO is equal to DO. Okay, so these are the properties of the uh, parallelogram. Okay, bisect each other, that means DB bisects AC. When DB bisects AC, that means AO equal to CO. Also AC bisects BD because it is written they bisect each other. So AC bisects DB, that is DO equal to BO. Okay, so these are the definition and the properties of parallelograms. Now next we will see rectangle. Okay, next is the rectangle. We'll see the proper definition of the rectangle, then we'll see the properties of the rectangle. Okay, so next is rectangle. So a parallelogram, if we make a one angle of parallelogram 90 degree. Okay, see, this was a parallelogram, this is a parallelogram. Now I can say if I move this side in such a way, this becomes like this, and this angle becomes 90 degrees. So we'll get diagram something like this. Okay, so this will be a rectangle. So what we'll write? Parallelogram having one angle. Okay, parallelogram having one angle 90 degree is called rectangle. Is called rectangle. Parallelogram having one angle 90 degree is called rectangle. Okay, parallelogram having one angle 90 degree is called rectangle. Now we'll see the properties of rectangle. Okay, before that let me draw the diagram for rectangle. Okay, this is the diagram of a rectangle. You can see one angle is 90 degree. Now you might say if one angle is 90 degree, then all angles are 90 degree. Definitely, but this is the one of the property of the rectangle. So very first property, as I told you, first we do write the properties of sides, then angles, and then property related to diagonals. So uh, opposite sides are equal. Okay, opposite sides are equal. Okay, opposite angles, or better to write, all angles are equal to 90 degree. Okay, all angles equal to 90 degree. Third, okay, sides, angles, then diagonals. So definitely it's a type of a parallelogram. See, rectangle, rhombus, and square, all three are the types of parallelogram. So definitely they follow the properties of parallelogram. That means definitely opposite sides will be equal, definitely opposite angles will be equal, and definitely diagonals will bisect each other. Now here when I write the properties, I do write the specific properties of the rectangle only. If if any is, if there is any property applicable. For example, here opposite sides are equal, so this is the same as the parallelogram, because uh, parallel rectangle does not have any special property related to sides other than the properties that was of parallelogram. Okay, now over there I wrote all angles, sorry, opposite angles are equal. So here I am writing all angles are 90 degree. If all angles are 90 degree, but obvious opposite angles are equal. Okay, so I won't write here opposite angles are equal. Okay, because here we have a special property of the rectangle, that is all angles are equal to 90 degree. Now similarly for the diagonal, definitely diagonal bisect each other. So I won't write over here diagonal bisect each other, because here I have a specific property of the rectangle. Diagonals bisect each other than that diagonals are equal. Diagonals are equal. That means here I can say AC is equal to BD. Okay, that is AC equal to BD. So these are the properties of and the definition of the rectangle. Now next we will see square. Okay, next property we will see of the rhombus, and then we come to the square. Rhombus. So something like this is the diagram of the rhombus. Okay, this is the rhombus. So rhombus will define such a way: a parallelogram having all sides equal. See, this is the parallelogram. If I draw the diagram of parallelogram, this is the parallelogram. Okay, now if I move this side in such a way that it comes over here, Okay, in this way. Okay, that means I move the side in such a way that this breadth becomes equal to length. That means I move this in such a way adjacent become equal, adjacent sides become equal. So when the adjacent will be equal, all will be equal because opposite are already equal. So we'll get a rhombus. So we can say parallelogram, a parallelogram having all sides equal, having all sides equal is called a rhombus, is called a rhombus. Okay, now we'll see the properties. So first we'll see the properties of sides. So all sides equal, all sides of rhombus are equal, all sides of rhombus are equal. That is AB equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to DA. Okay, then angles. So only opposite angles are equal. So here we'll write opposite angles, opposite angles of rhombus are equal. That is angle ABC. That is angle ABC is equal to angle ADC, and angle BAD and angle BAD is equal to angle BCD. Angle BCD. Okay, opposite angles of rhombus are equal. Now next, okay, opposite angles are equal, opposite sides are equal. Now we'll see the properties related to the diagonal. So diagonal bisect each other, but over here, other than bisecting each other, they are also perpendicular to each other. Okay, so here I do write diagonals of rhombus bisect each other at bisect each other at 90 degree, or in other words I can say diagonal of rhombus are perpendicular to each other, bisect each other at 90 degree. That is angle, that is AC perpendicular BD, AC perpendicular BD, or I can write that is angle AOD, that is angle AOD is equal to DOC is equal to angle BOC is equal to angle BOC is equal to angle AOB is equal to 90 degree. Okay, so these are the properties of rhombus. Now after this we'll see the properties of square. Okay, so next we will see properties of rhombus, sorry, properties of square. First we'll see the definition of square, then we'll see the properties of square. Next is square. Okay, so if you see the diagram, it is something like this. Okay, so we can say uh, in a parallelogram, if all sides equal and one angle 90 degree. Okay, a parallelogram having all sides equal and one angle 90 degree is called square, is called square. Okay, that means in a parallelogram, if we make all sides equal and we make one angle 90 degree, we'll get a square. There is one more way to define a square. We can say in a rectangle, if we make the adjacent sides equal, see, this is a rectangle already having one angle 90 degree. Now what I am doing, I am making these two equal. That means in this way. Okay, when adjacent will equal, then all will be equal. Okay, so I can say a rectangle having equal adjacent sides is called a rectangle having equal adjacent sides is called square. Okay, now there is one more way to define the square. See, this is a rhombus. Okay, if I make its one of angle 90 degree, if I want to make this angle 90 degree, then I have to move this side in this way, such a way. Okay, so I will get something like this, which gives me a square. That means uh, a rhombus having one angle 90 degree. Okay, a rhombus having one angle 90 degree is called square. Okay, so these are the definitions of the square. We can define the square in terms of parallelogram, in terms of rectangle, as well as in terms of rhombus. Now next we will see the properties of the rectangle. Sorry, properties of the square. Okay, properties of square. So here is the very first property of the square. Again, as I told you, first we'll see the properties related to sides, then angles, and then the diagonals. So here I can write all sides of square are equal. Then all angles of square are equal to 90 degrees. Then okay, all sides equal, all angles equal. Now diagonals. So diagonals, see here diagonals are equal as well as they bisect each other, as well as they are perpendicular to each other. So diagonals of square are equal. Also they bisect each other at 90 degree. Okay, now there is one more property of the diagonal which was also in the rhombus. I forgot to specify over there, so I am specifying that property of diagonal. So this last property is applicable to both squares as well as rhombus. So uh, see uh, over here I can write that is AB equal to BC is equal to AC is equal to not AC, AD is equal to CD. Over here I can say all angles 90 degrees, so angle A equal to B equal to C is equal to D is equal to 90 degree. I am not writing full name. Okay, diagonals of a square are equal, that is I can say AC is equal to BD and bisect each other. So okay, okay, now last property, see this is the last property of the square as well as of the rhombus. So here I am writing that, see, this property says that diagonal of a rhombus or square bisects the angle at its vertices. Okay, that means diagonal AC bisects the angle at A and C, BD bisects the angle at B and D. So diagonal of square diagonal of square bisects the angle bisects the angles at its vertices at its vertices at its vertices. That is, here I can write angle 1 is equal to angle 2, angle 3 is equal to angle 4, angle 5 is equal to angle 6, and angle 7 is equal to angle 8. Okay, so here these are the properties of square. Now all the properties of parallelograms as well as rectangles, square and rhombus, they are also correct if you make them converse. So now we'll see those properties once again, okay, in terms of theorems. Okay, in terms of theorems we'll see all the properties, okay, because these properties are also true if we make their converse. Okay, so next we will see uh, properties in terms of theorems. Okay, so I will give you some idea, just theorems. Okay, see, if we say that opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal, okay, we'll say opposite sides of parallelogram are equal, then its converse is also true. That means for a quadrilateral, if opposite sides are equal, then it's a parallelogram. Okay, so in a quadrilateral, if opposite sides are equal, then it's a parallelogram. Then we say that opposite sides, sorry, diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Then its converse is also true. What is its converse? That if we in a quadrilateral, if diagonal bisect each other, then it's a parallelogram. So all these properties and their converse are also true. Okay, so in that way you can get the theorem. So here that is all about the quadrilaterals. Now next we'll start uh, areas of parallelograms and triangles. Next is areas of parallelograms and triangles. Next chapter we'll start. Okay, so before we move to the next chapter, there is one more theorem that we should discuss, that is midpoint theorem. Okay, midpoint theorem and its converse. Midpoint theorem and its converse. So what midpoint theorem says? Midpoint theorem, in a triangle, okay, in a triangle, line segment joining the line segment joining the midpoints, line segment joining the midpoints of opposite, line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides, any two sides, line segment joining the midpoint of any two sides of any two sides, line segment joining the midpoint of any two sides is parallel to third side, is half of third side and parallel it is half of the third side and parallel to it, and parallel to it. Okay, and that means suppose we have a triangle ABC in this way, and we have an idea that Q is midpoint of AB and D is midpoint of AC, then line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides is parallel to the third side and half of third side. So in the figure, in the figure, Q is midpoint of AB and D is midpoint of AC. Okay, in the figure, Q is midpoint of AB and D is midpoint, and D is midpoint of AC, then QD is equal to half of BC and QD parallel BC. QD equal to half of BC and QD parallel PC. So in a triangle, line segment joining the midpoint of any two side is half of the third side and parallel to it. That is the midpoint theorem. Now there is a one more theorem which is converse of this. Converse midpoint theorem. Converse midpoint theorem says that if a line segment drawn from the midpoint of one side of the triangle parallel to another side, then it will bisect the third side. Converse of midpoint theorem. Converse midpoint theorem. Converse midpoint theorem. Uh, in a triangle, line segment in a triangle line segment drawn from the midpoint of one side drawn from the midpoint of in a triangle line segment drawn from the midpoint of one side parallel to another side bisects the third side or the remaining side, bisects the third side. Okay, in a triangle line segment drawn from the midpoint of one side parallel to the another side bisect the third side. That means in the figure, if I say Q is midpoint of AB and QD parallel BC, then I can say D will be midpoint of AC. Then D is midpoint of AC. Then D is midpoint of AC. Then D is midpoint of AC. In a line segment, Q is midpoint of AB, then D is midpoint of AC, and QD parallel BC. So that is converse of midpoint theorem. Okay. Now next we'll start areas of parallelograms and triangles. Okay. Areas of parallelograms and triangles. Okay, so in this chapter, very first thing we have to understand, if we have two figures, then we have to check whether those figures are on the same base and between same parallels or not. Okay, two figures on the same base and between same parallels. If okay, if there are such a figures which are on between same base and same parallels, then there is a theorem related to that. For example, over here, if I say, okay, if I say ABC is a triangle and ABQD is a trapezium. Okay, AB parallel DQ. Then I can say ABC and ABQD having same base that is common base or equal base, and they also lie between same parallel. These two are the parallel lines. Okay, so these two figures are on the same base and between same parallel lines. Let us see one more example. Okay, this is a triangle, and if I take this again as a trapezium, AQZBC. So here AQB and AQZC are two plane figures which lie on same base AQ and between same parallels. Okay, Okay, now if there are two parallelograms in such condition, that means if two parallelograms are on the same base and between same parallels, then there is a relation between their area. Okay, suppose this is a parallelogram. Okay, this is parallelogram ABCD. Okay, this is a parallelogram ABCD, and suppose I draw one more parallelogram in this way. Okay, this is suppose one more parallelogram ABZQ. Okay, so these two parallelograms are on the same base and between same parallel, then we'll say they are equal in area. So this is the very first theorem or concept we can say related to this chapter. Two parallelograms or simply parallelograms, not necessarily only two. Parallelograms having same base, having same base and lying between same parallels and lying between same parallels are equal equal in area. Parallelogram having same base and lying between same parallels are equal in area. Okay, now there is one more property. Now suppose we have a parallelogram in this way. Okay, if I draw a parallelogram, okay, and also draw a triangle. Okay, ABCD is a parallelogram, ABQ is a triangle. That means if a triangle and a parallelogram having same base, then area of triangle will be half of the area of the parallelogram. If a parallelogram and triangle lie on same base and between same parallels, lie on same base and between same parallels and between same parallels, then area of triangle is half the area of parallelogram. Okay, so these are the basic two theorems in this chapter. Now there are some results that uh, are very useful while solving the question related to this. So that I am giving you next as a note. Suppose there we have a parallelogram. Okay, suppose we have a parallelogram and suppose it is given A and B are the midpoints of this in this way. A is midpoint of PQ and B is midpoint of RC. Then this segment divides this parallelogram into two parts, this upper one and the lower one, and these two are the parallelograms as well as they have same area. Okay, so we can say line segment joining the midpoints of opposite sides of parallelogram, line segment joining the midpoints, line segment joining the midpoints of opposite sides of opposite sides of parallelogram divides it divides it into two parallelograms of equal area. Okay, if there is a line segment joins the midpoints of two sides, two opposite sides of parallelogram, then it divides the parallelogram into two parallelograms having equal area. Okay, also we can say median of a triangle. Next, median of a triangle divides it divides it into two triangles of of divides it into two triangles of equal area. Okay, okay, suppose we have a triangle in this way. ABC is a triangle, and suppose AQ is a median, then area of this left triangle will be equal to area of this right triangle. Or we can say area of each triangle is half the area of the original triangle. That means area of ABQ is equal to area of AQC is equal to area of ABC by 2. Okay, now in the same way we have one more result, that diagonal of a parallelogram divides the parallelogram divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles, That means suppose if we have a parallelogram ABCD and we draw diagonal AC, then we can say these two triangles are congruent. Triangle ADC is congruent to triangle ABC. And we also know that triangles which are congruent are equal in area. So next we'll write congruent triangles are equal in area. But it's vice versa is not correct. That means if there are two triangles which are equal in area, we can't say that they will be congruent. Okay, congruent triangles are equal in area, but triangles having equal area, okay, I'm writing over here, but triangles having equal area need not be congruent always. Okay, need not be congruent always. Okay, so congruent triangles are equal in area. Now one more important result that we'll see in a trapezium. Okay, suppose we have a trapezium in this way. Okay, trapezium ABCD. Now line segment joining the midpoints of the non-parallel sides Q and Z. Line segment joining the midpoints of the non-parallel side is half the sum of the parallel sides. That means here QZ is equal to AB plus DC by 2. So this is the next, you can say, in a trapezium uh, line segment joining the midpoints of non-parallel side, line segment joining the midpoints of the non-parallel side is equal to the half of the sum of parallel sides. Okay, so here according to diagram I can write so that is over here I can write QZ is equal to AB plus CD by 2. Okay, now one thing more last I can say. See, okay, suppose we have a trapezium only, and now instead of midpoints of the sides, suppose I have the midpoints of the its diagonals. Okay, these are the midpoints of the diagonals. Then this segment QZ is half is parallel to AB and DC as well as half of the difference of its parallel sides. So next I do write in a trapezium. Okay, this is the next point. This will be the diagram. In a trapezium, line segment joining the line segment joining the midpoints line segment joining the midpoints of the diagonals diagonals is parallel parallel to its parallel sides to its parallel sides and is equal to half of the difference of its parallel sides. That is, over here I can write QZ is equal to QZ parallel AB parallel CD. Also QZ is equal to half of CD minus AB. CD minus AB. Okay, so that is all about this lecture. Now in next lecture we'll start revision of next chapter. Till then, bye, thank you, take care, stay at